Okay, so we've been working on crush-proof packaging for your product. And the challenge is to build a structure that has the least possible mass and volume, because we want to put a bunch of these in a shipping container and ship them across the country. But it still must protect your product from being crushed in shipping and being stacked on shelves and stuff like that. So I've made this spreadsheet to do our scoring. I'm going to measure, we will measure your length in centimeters, the width in centimeters, and the height in centimeters. And then we're going to, this thing will calculate your volume in cubic centimeters. Does anybody know the volume formula? What's the formula for finding volume? It is length times width times height, right? So it's like 3D space. So we're going to measure it this way. We'll call that width. We'll call that length. And we'll call that height. In centimeters, multiply it all together, and that's your 3D space, and that is your volume. And then we're going to put it on my kitchen scale, which I brought in today. Measure your mass in grams, and it's going to multiply the volume times the mass. And you're going to get a big number, which is your sub-score. Now, any of you play golf? Lucy, in golf, do you want a high score or a low score?
A low score.
Okay. Basketball, you want a high score, right?
And softball.
Which do you think this is if you're trying to use the minimal possible mass and volume? True?
You want the smallest?
You want the smallest score, except it needs to be the smallest non-zero score.
Yes.
Because it's got to protect your product from being crushed. That's where this last thing comes in, the crush test. It's either a 0 or a 1. That's what we call a binary figure. If it fails the crush test, it's going to be a 0. If it passes the crush test, it's going to be a 1. So then the formula is going to multiply all those numbers together, and you can see we had, in the other group, one got a score of 55,728. It's a big number. It's possible, pretty possible to beat that if you can protect your product. We also had two that would have had better scores than that, except they didn't protect the product and they got zeros. Questions, Lawson?
So, if the ping pong ball is like crushed, like just a little bit, do we?
Here, when someone's asking a question, you can do that.
So, if the ping pong ball gets crushed just a little bit, do we still get a 1?
No, I can't sell that product in my store.
So
You get a 0 if it is not pretty.
So that's,
Of yours.
oh, I felt a little crack.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
I think it's
I want to cut it open. I want to do it.
I want to cut it open.
I want to.
This is everything I want to open.
I haven't cut it.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I think that survived. I think it may have survived. It had a little dent in it, but
Don't tell me I had a little dent in it.
It had a dent before.
The weird thing is, like, I can feel the ping pong ball bulging out at the top, which makes me think she was putting her foot right on the ping pong ball.
I wish she was. That's the only thing I'm scared about, honestly. Oh my gosh. How did we do this? Oh my gosh.
Get the scissors.
Okay.
This is you'll remember this on Christmas morning when you have those presents that you can't get open.
Yeah, that's so true.
Those plastic, everything's shrunk wrap in
I
plastic.
remember getting those LOL surprise dolls for Christmas.
Oh my god. When like all the stairs.
Because I used to love them.
Well, now you know part of why they do that.
Plastic. They have the plastic.
Oh they have the ribbons over it too, which makes it even harder.
And they put twist ties all in the plastic.
Yeah, like if two 11-year-olds can make a package out of cardboard and duct tape and glue, then I think a pro company with extra supplies can make a one that's easy to open.
You would think.
Does it have a dent?
That looks good.
It-
No.
Did well. Honestly, I was a bit surprised. But yeah, this group, everyone passed. Everyone held passed the test, the crush test, which is good. Some similarities in designs. These are pretty close. This is completely different. What do you think worked well? What did we learn about structures and
You need to make it wide and like tall.
what's that?
Tall. Wide and tall.
This one's not that tall.
You need to make it maybe like short and maybe kind of close,
Compact.
Looking at the ones
but not too close.
in this group that all held the
Maybe wide.
these all passed the crush test. Okay. This one passed the crush test from the other class. These two didn't. So I wouldn't have really guessed this, but what does that say about width, length, and
They're
width
not
of it?
covered that much.
Well, they're not really padded. Also,
They're not really what?
like a padded kind of.
Okay. Do you think they tried to go too light?
Yeah.
They tried to make too much.
They tried to make it too small and
They
too
tried to
light?
make it too compact,
Yeah. It would have been a good score.
but he made it too compact.
It's a bit of a gamble. How far can you go making it compact and
But
it's still
also
hold,
safe.
and still could hold the force. All right. Any other thoughts about what you learned about looking at these?
They're big. Well, that one is. The one
Mhm.
in here.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that it's that strong.
What's
It
the
was
big-
spreading its strength out that far. Hold on, let's take turns. Virginia, right?
So I feel
When
like
someone's talking, get them.
it would be safer, like inside,
Mhm.
if like it could be like tiny, but it also could be like big and like with like protection on the top and on the sides.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be like safer for the product inside.
Mm-hmm. I think you might expect a given mass to be stronger if you can make it small and compact, because you're not spreading the force out so much. If that's what you're saying. Yes.
Was that big one with the popsicle sticks on top? Was that one hollow or?
It kind of looks hollow.
It is hollow.
It is hollow.
Oh, really?
What I would say this is a good example of, I'll be honest, I look at this and it just doesn't look like a really great design.
No, it doesn't.
But when I told you one of the things that really mattered is craft. The one thing when you hold this thing, it's straight, it's square, it loads evenly because everything's well designed and cut, right? And craft really matters. You can have maybe not the best design, but do a really nice job building it. And this is really nice work. The tape is in the right place. It's tight. Everything's snug. Everything lines up, and that's why you can have a sloppy one and a really neat one. And the neat one can be much stronger. Craft really matters when you're testing structures. They also did more. It is hollow, but they've got that engineered cardboard there, and they've got a lot of laminated cardboard, which gives it a lot of strength in that direction. So you used your materials pretty nicely to put the strength of it where you needed it.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I felt it felt like it was just hollow single wall cardboard, and I'm like, this thing's in trouble. But no, it's deceptively well designed.
Because we kind of thought
It's not
as hollow. It would be easier to make, we're gonna kind of lean forward a little bit, like you have more pressure.
Yeah, the ones that, and
That
this is
way?
an example of one.
Oh.
These popsicle sticks add a lot of strength to the sides. Excuse me, they add a lot of strength to the sides. But you see how this side's short and these things stand up. They're uneven. So that when you start loading it, you can see that you're going to load it this way and then it fails that way. You can see the way it flopped over
Yeah.
because the weight didn't sit straight down on it.
Yeah.
And so the one thing this is a pretty, it's deceptively well designed. That's a more clever design than I would have
Yes.
thought just from the outside.
Yes.
But it's well made. I think Virginia Ray, Maya, and Ari, yeah, I think they deserve compliments on how well
Thank
that
you.
one was
But
put
this
together.
is